All right. So sorry. My internet was out. I had to just come back again. All right. Please confirm you can hear me so we can just dive straight in. If you can hear me, please just type a yes on the chat for me before we proceed. Anyone? I just need to confirm my network is good and I'm active and you can hear me. Can also see my chat so we can continue. So anybody I need response. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So this is GBP USD. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Now this is GBP USD. Now, before now, GBP USD has been on this good upward movement. Thank you. Very good upward movement. If I go to my higher time frame, let's see my daily time frame. Now, if I adjust my chart, you'll notice that this guy has been on a good upward movement, massive retracement, but it continued the upward movement, just along these levels. Okay. Let me hide this panel so that it won't disturb my session. Okay, good. So we had this significant upward push. All right. So we've been bullish. Now, for the last 2 weeks, the last two sessions I've had with you on this market review, I was trying to show you how to uh, know where to take your trade. That's your point of interest. So I call it the break and retest, the break and retest, right? So which means when price is moving from your higher time frame, your daily, we're specific with daily time frame. Just always mark out your daily time frame. Now, when you have a previous level that price has bounced off of, say for instance, you have this level here, this major resistance level, right? That price finally broke at this point. So what you do is you mark this resistance level and you extend it to the future. Now, what you are trying to do is you are trying to, this is a breakout. Okay, so this was where price broke out from. Let me change this color so you might be able to see it better. Let's see. Okay, good. So at this point here, this was a major resistance level. Now remember, we are doing this on the daily time. So it's very significant. Hence, when price retraced massively, this retracement, if the retracement is as significant as this, because for 2 straight days, we had extremely bearish days, which was very significant. The retracement was massive, right? So, which means the massive retracement makes the resistance a significant area. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to become a significant resistance in future. What I'm saying is that the moment price breaks out of it, just like it did here, this place becomes a strong area and a liquidity pool where price will most likely come back to before continuing that upward push, right? Yes, it's going to be a strong area. Now, which price definitely did, it came back to this level, pushed up again. Now, in pushing up, before it came down, this was a resistance area, which is also very significant, just like this. Now, this massive retracement on a daily is good. Now, the moment price broke out of it, what happened again? It retested, it held, it pushed up, retested, pushed up. Now, retested, pushed up. After first time, second time, third time, now on the fourth time, price broke that level and came back where? To the previous level it left. So price moves like in steps. It's intentional with the movement. It doesn't move random. There might be some element of randomness, but that element of randomness is whatever it's doing, it's in a bid to move to a particular point. Just imagine you're trying to go from Abuja to Lagos, for instance. I always use this example. The road is not straight. Even if from this is Lagos and you're going to Abuja, there are sometimes you'll be going straight. Sometimes it will look like you are bending to the other side, to your left or to your right. It goes, but that is more like a temporary movement. In the long run, you find out that you are still moving towards a particular area. So what am I saying? This downward push is intentional so that price can gain more momentum. It means that there is no momentum for price to keep pushing to the upside. Hence, price needs to come back to the downside to gather momentum to push higher. Just like when you want to jump high, the higher you want to go, the lower you go first. If you bend down more, you can jump higher. The lower you bend down, the higher you jump, right? So that's exactly what's happening here. So instead of price to push up at this point again, what makes price to break this particular level? All right, that means when price hits this point, it's going to go up. And NFP brought us into this level. So if I go back to my, let's say 4 hours or even 1 hour time frame, let me use my 1 hour time frame. So NFP brought us into this particular level right here. Now, which is good. Now we are pushing up, isn't it? So from here, where do you expect price to keep going to? At least for the next few days, or for today at least. Now, this is an open question. Where do you expect price to go to? Judging from what we have said, what's your opinion? What do you think? I'm waiting for any response. Anyone? If you want to drop it on your chat, if you want to say something, I can unmute you for you to contribute. Where do you think price should be headed? Up or it should be headed down? Or what do you think from here? Current market price. No opinion. Well, okay. Okay, it should be heading down. Someone said it should be heading down. Any other opinion? Any other opinion? Price will shoot up above the previous high. Okay. Up. All right. Seller body says up. Chinedu up. Okay. All right. Now, generally speaking, from the analysis we just did, looking at price from the higher perspective, we didn't start from uh, H1. We started from the daily, right? On the daily, this is how it looks like, which means that all of this downward push, as when price was pushing down, is in a bid to come to this level to start going back up again. Now, all of this downward push is a bit to get here to go up. Now, all of this downward push that price has been doing, if I switch to my H1, you will see how massively price has been bearish. Now, this does not mean that we are now in a bearish market. All of this is a retracement for price to start pushing back to the upside. Right? Now that price has gotten to this point, we expect price, all things being equal, technically, to keep pushing to the upside. Now, there might be a temporary break at this point, maybe a bit of a push down, but in the long run, price will most likely break above even this level and push further to the upside. So examples of periods like that, you see things like this. Let me go back to where price are. So examples are, you see, okay, this downward movement, although not as massive as the one we're looking at currently, but you see, the moment price got into this level, it just kept pushing higher and higher and higher and higher for a number of days, 1, 2, 3, 4, ranged a bit, pushed higher, then came back to this level, pushed high for some time. Now price is here and we expect it to push further to the upside, all things being equal. So GBP USD, we expect price to keep being bullish. We expect price to keep being bullish. USD JPY. Let's see. Let me just use okay. So USD JPY, the same thing. It has been bullish, but NFP brought price to the downside here because the dollar was weakened for NFP. It was bad for the dollar. So you could see that USD JPY, USD the base, had to retreat a bit to the downside. Now, if we look at it, the same thing we've done from the higher time frame. Now, this is break and retest, right? From the higher time frame, you notice that price has been trapped in this particular range for a while. Now, if I zoom further out again, the last significant point that price broke on my daily. Good. Now, on my daily, the last significant area that price broke, if I am to mark that particular level, okay, so I can see that price, it broke quite a number of points, of places rather. There was this one here, broke and it retested. Now I zoomed it to make it smaller. Broke here and retested. Price also did the same thing. Excuse me. Price did the same thing, see this resistance level. Now, the moment it broke out of this point here, came back down to retest. And it's on this particular level that we are right now. Okay, so price had two levels, major levels is bouncing off of. The first is around here, and the second is up here. So for the last how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4 times, price has been bouncing off of this particular level. And every time it bounces, it goes high. The first time this level bounced, it went as high as this. The third time went as high as this. Now the fourth bounce had happened, and price is currently on its way to the upside. Okay, so if I'm to trade this, the price is currently pushing to the upside as we speak. And if I come down to my lower time frame to look out for my entry points. Now, what brought us back down here is NFP. What brought this massive one here is NFP. Okay, so if I'm to do the same thing on my lower time frame, I just need to look for a strong support level where price is most likely going to bounce off of. Excuse me. I need to zoom out a bit to see the larger picture. Okay. All right. So I look for a previous resistance area, especially if it has done like a double top area, and mark that point to see if price can return to that particular level, then perhaps you should go for me. Okay, so price is currently pushing to the downside on USD JPY. Now, I don't expect it to continue pushing to the downside for too long. You know, remember from our daily, price has already hit that point and is currently on its way to the upside. So irrespective, you notice that price is still pushing higher and higher and higher, right? So what I'm looking out for is there is a very high tendency that price can push to these levels. That is one. It didn't even get up to this level. So this is the worst case scenario for me on USD JPY. Now, all things being equal, I expect price to still be bullish in the long run. So we are still heading to the upside. So in the long run, I expect price to keep pushing up back for USD JPY. Worst case is you might experience this particular, let's say, a drop into these levels before we now actually have that significant momentum in price. But for the last, at least for yesterday, price opened at this point here and closed significantly bullish, right? So today, I expect price, all things being equal, it can come back to retest this low or just break out of this particular place right here. So I can bet my money on it. Most likely, USD JPY is going to start being bullish again because dollar is beginning to recover from that strength it lost due to the NFP. Then Euro USD, the Euro dollar. Now you can copy and paste this same uh, strategy on any chart you are dealing with. And it's simple. Once you open any chart, go to your daily, right? Go to your daily. Good. If it's too big, you can zoom out. Now, once you're on your daily, look for a previous significant resistance that price did a massive retracement from. And watch out for when price broke above that resistance level. In this case, price has been pushing up, right? So yes, we are looking for resistance level. Now, if we are to test it out, for instance, when price, this was a resistance level, price did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days straight retracements. Bearish, 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 very significant. So hence, price then recovered and broke out of that level. So I'll mark this as my resistance. You notice that the moment price broke above, it came back to retest it. So when it comes back to retest and it holds and start pushing up, you can join at any time. You might not even join that very day. You might join the following day, knowing that price should keep pushing higher for days, which it eventually did. All right. So we want to do the same thing. It created a massive resistance here and this massive retracement. So that's what qualifies the zone. When there is a resistance, the retracement has to be significant for this resistance also to be significant. So if I'm to do the same thing, if I'm to mark this resistance, right? Now there are two, but let me just mark it around this area from here all the way up here and I extend to the future. You'll notice that this was a breakout, but not a perfect one. But this is a perfect breakout. First, it bounced off. Now it came deep inside and currently is where? On its way to the upside because you will see this massive bullish candle showing us that buyers are massive here. And NFP, in fact, helped that bullish candle because that was exactly on Friday. Yeah, this was on Friday. On Friday. So it tells us that this zone is holding steady, right? So which means, but there is no significant momentum yet, but I expect price to keep pushing to the upside. Now, worst case scenario is that price might want to return back to this level before pushing up, just like our USDJPY, right? But in the long run, we expect euro dollar to be bullish. We expect it to be bullish. That's it, all right? NZD USD, apply the same method, break and retest. So some of you might need to go over this video again on YouTube, watch it, understand the concept I'm using to analyze, right? It's just simply break and retest. The break is going to be seen from your higher time frame and the retest also. So I have my daily, this is NZD USD on the daily time frame. All right. Now you can see this massive level here and this massive resistance. This is on the daily. It has to be on the higher time frame. Price respect this retest on the higher time frame than on your lower time frame. So you use your higher time frame to know exactly where that point happened. You mark it down even before it retests. So on the daily, now for the fact that price broke out of this level because we're heading to the downside before, all right? If price has broken, let me say, you see all of these levels right here. If price has broken down like this, all we need to do is to wait for a retest into this level for us to keep selling, for us to have a continuous sell, right? Always wait for the breakout. Sorry, always wait for the retest, right? Always wait for the retest. Mind you, we have a training here in Abuja today, which we are going to be dealing with this strategy specifically, right? Always wait for the retest. So if you're around Abuja, you can come over and we are going to be looking at this strategy very in detail, right? There's slightly more to it, which we can't really go into. This is just analysis. This is analysis class, not a training room. All right, so we cannot go into all the details. So, but this is just to show you in summary how it's being done. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have this break to the downside. What we had was a break to the upside. Okay. Now, given the fact that we've had this double top here, and I mark it out, price then broke out. So you are going to be extended to the future. Now, the reason it got to this point is because I'm also extending it as high as this week here. All right. So if I extend it as high as that week, you will notice that we had a retest here, then another retest, which is not doing perfect, but yes, it's holding at this level. So which means that price should push higher, at least to these levels. Again, all things being equal. So what I do is when you come down to your lower time frame, I already have my directional bias, which is to the upside. Okay. So all I need to do is to allow price to get momentum. Now you see that across currencies that we have done, GBP USD, USD JPY, even the Euro USD, all price needs right now is momentum because the dollar is just trying to gain that strength back. So you notice that price is just ranging around these levels. Hence, I need price to break out. I just need price to break out around these levels. Because the moment NFP happened, after NFP on Friday, for this week, price has not had momentum to really push significantly to either direction. This was Friday, this was Monday. Tuesday, notice that price range. Tuesday, price came down, went back up. It didn't close really bearish or bullish. Now, this is Wednesday. All right, so price is still finding that momentum it needs to be able to recover and continue the direction that it needs to go. So, but irrespective, I expect price, since this level is holding, to keep being bullish, at least to these levels. So we might have a push down, then a continuous push to the upside, at least to these levels that I identified right here. Okay, so this is my expectations. I think everything we are looking at is going bullish and bullish. Now, if we look at oil, now I've been avoiding oil for a while because um, there was some level of unpredictability, and for the fact that at some point, sometimes whatever you are trading might not 100% respect your technicals. You find out that, for instance, this is what I do. If I'm trading a particular, let's say I'm more into coffee now, for instance, and coffee is obeying my analysis. The moment I have a negative trade, a loss, I did the right thing, but it went against me. Now I do it again and it goes against me. I will just pause for a while. I'll try to see what exactly is happening. I can even go online to start checking about what's currently happening to coffee and everything, just to get more insight. This is for those of us who pick a couple of instruments and are, trading those ones back to back. I can tell you what happened 3 months ago, 2 weeks ago, last week, yesterday. We are in tune. We are together. So if you have that kind of instrument, you need to tell. So I avoided oil when it started to do such things, but I think now oil is beginning to show signs that it's respecting technicals again. So yes, we can also safely trade oil at this point. Um, so if I'm to do this one with oil right now, the same thing I do. But when it comes to oil does this up, down, up, down, up, down. It can trend in one direction, change direction. So if I go even to my much higher time frame, like my weekly time frame, unfortunately, my MT5 will take some time to load and give me more data on this. Okay. So this particular instrument, it alternates between that up and down and up and down. Okay, you can see it's moved a lot by fundamentals, and the fundamentals can last for a while. So if you don't know what's happening out there, it's just stay clear, right? Just stay clear. But right now, we are still in the clear to trade it technically. So what I mean is this: if I have this level for my weekly, if I have this level accurately drawn, from this resistance that became support right here, all of these levels. Now it's too large, but I need to be very specific. Okay. So if I have these levels right here, you notice that price broke this level slightly, but it's coming back to this level. You need to know what you are looking out for. I'm looking out for a point where price has tested a couple of times, breakout, and I'm aiming to see if price will respect that level, it comes back. Now, price came back to this level and pushed inside, isn't it? So which means that there is more strength for price to go back to the upside. There is more strength for price to go back to the upside. Always check the origin. Where is price coming from? And where is it headed to? Now, generally, price has been coming from the upside. Let's see, from oil. It has been coming from the upside. Now, and when price was coming from the upside, most times you see price, okay, it will do more of downward movement, a little bit of up, then more of down, a little bit of up, then more of down, right? Now, but for the first time, let's see if price breaks out of this particular level, since it's pushing to the upside now, H1. Okay, good. If price can break out of this particular level on H1, on oil, if price can break out of this particular level. Now, notice that I'm not doing 100% breakout and retest on oil because, like I said, oil is a bit different. So, whatever you are trading, know the instrument you are trading. So, that's why I told you about being specific with certain instruments. You understand their behavior better, right? Now, in the case of oil, I'm waiting to see where price is bouncing off of. And the moment it breaks out of that particular level, then I can follow it, in the direction it broke out to. So, which means that this is my trend line. If price can break out of my trend line to the downside, then I'm going to be selling because price is in this range. But if price keep pushing to the upside, I'll bank that price is going to continue pushing to the upside. At least it should push back up to these levels up here. Right? Oil will push back to these levels up here, at least. Right? Getting out of this our zone that we have identified. Hence, I am looking at the possibility of buying oil. Oil should be bullish. Oil should be bullish. Okay? Oil should be bullish. Then, let's see. Someone said D30. Now, on my D30, I can have my break and retest. It's just that sometimes that retest can take a while before it happens. Yes, sometimes that retest can take a while before it happens. So take, for instance, this particular level here. So you can see this is on the daily. So you can see this continuous bearish candles as retracement. If I mark this as a resistance, it took a while before price came here, and it even broke below to the downside. It came to the support levels. Excuse me. It came all the way down to the support level. Now, indices can be crazy sometimes, especially because of their volatility. So always be careful with indices. Now, price has done this one again, this resistance, which makes this point very significant. You see this massive retracement has made this particular level is significant resistance where we can expect price to come back into for us to have a trade. Okay, good. Now notice when price broke out, you see the retest. Not a perfect one, though, but yes, it held and it pushed price to the upside. Price came back there, and where is it currently headed to? It's currently headed to the upside, at least. At least, let it get back to the previous levels it got to. Okay, at least price should push higher to this point. So let's see. Now, on our lower time frame where you'll be looking for entry points. So you can see that price has been pushing back to the upside. Okay. There might be a temporary setback because I'm seeing this level here from this resistance all the way to this point here that it held. Good. You can see that price is breaking above. Yes, which can be a temporary setback, but look at what price did when it got to that level. See what price did? Yes, a temporary setback. This point pushed us down back a bit, but eventually price is taking it out. So I expect price to just continue being bullish on the, yes, I expect it to continue being bullish. But if it comes back below, especially when it breaks below this point it retraced to, because it created a low here. Now, you understand this in detail if we are talking about market structure. You would understand this in detail. But except price comes back to this lower point here and breaks it, then we will most likely be headed back all the way to this down area here. But if that does not happen, as long as price remains above this my level, then I am going to be bullish at least up to this point. So yes, D40, expect price to keep pushing to the upside. Good morning, sir, Mr. Feng. Good morning. Okay, so UK 100, FTSE 100. Let me see also. So if we do the same thing we do, excuse me, if we do the same thing we do, let's see. So this is my daily time frame. Now, this retracement here makes this level massively significant, which is I'm going to have all of this resistance right here. Yes. So what I'm doing now is, oh, yes, there was a retest. There was a brief retest. There was a brief retest when price broke out of this level. Okay, this is the level. Yeah, a brief retest, not a perfect one, but yes, a brief retest, and it's headed to the upside. Now, if I'm to do the same thing on my lower time frame, I just need to look for a significant point. I need you to understand, please, just a minute. Just a minute. I'll be back. Okay, let me see what it's saying here. All right, so let me explain it this way. Have you had an experience, either positive or negative? Let's say the day you were born, very significant day, right? So you always remember that day, or the day either of your parents died. Something major happened on that day, which you will keep record of that day, and it will be a reference. So when that day comes, you will do something. It's either you celebrate or you are in a sober reflection, or something happened to you on any day. The more significant that thing that happened, perhaps you were in a very, very fatal accident. Let me put it in the negative direction first. Very fatal accident, but fortunately, you were saved. You will always remember that incident. Oh, this time last year, something happened to me. This time 2 years ago, this time 3 years ago. That is exactly what happens to price. Or the same thing, the day your birthday, your marriage anniversary, your kid's birthday, no, a significant day. You keep remembering that point. Now that's I'm just trying to explain it to you the way the market looks at price. There are certain levels that price will most likely respect if it is significant. And what makes it significant? This is it. Let me see if I can give you a pictorial view of what I'm talking about. What makes it significant? So if I have price do something like this, it's pulling up, it goes to the upside, and it comes down. Now, if it comes down a little and goes up again, now notice that when it came down a little, this was a high, right? Now, the problem now is that this retracement was too small. This retracement was too small. It's not something significant that the market will want to reference to in future. So it means that in future, if price comes back, price might not really come back to that level before it keeps pushing to the upside. Or price can decide because it has no regard for this particular level. So what price can do sometimes is that it can come back all the way inside this level before it pulls away again, right? But if you have such an incident like this, where you had, excuse me, where you had this kind of movement, let me rearrange all of this to show you what I'm talking about. Where you have this kind of movement, then you have this kind of significant retracement. Retracement as significant as this. The more significant retracement, it's making this place much more significant. So much so that the moment price breaks out of this level, excuse me, the moment price breaks out of this level, because of how significant the retracement is when price got here, it will want to reference it again in future. Like people want to remember that day. They are looking forward to it. So sellers will deliberately push price down because they know that the market likes to reference. So sellers will push price down to this level again, sometimes slightly below, but they will reference this zone, all right? Once they reference it, it will be a good point where buyers will now step in again to push price further to the upside. But this level first has to be significant in the retracement. That is, if price is pushing to the upside. So what do I mean? Now, notice what happened here. When we got to this particular level here on H1, you can see there was a significant retracement right here. This one, right? And price finally broke out of this level. So if I am to mark this level, you will see that at some point, it referenced this area and came back into it to push higher again. Okay, this is exactly what I'm trying to make you understand. That break and retest, but it's not every break and retest. The break and retest has to be with the one that left a significant mark in the market, a push and a significant retracement, and a breakout of that high of that retracement. Then in future, price can return there. When it does, I have a good trade. Okay, I have a good trade. So we will leave this level. In case price wants to return here, it will be a very good point to also buy from again. So this is UK 100. Let's see. Also, when it comes to gold is also trying to build momentum. Right, trying to build momentum to the upside again. And I have this very indicator you can use to trade it. Any other thing, you can use to trade this one too. This particular indicator here. This level is unmitigated, which means that in pushing to the upside, price can come back to this level. It can come back to this level. It can come back to this level in pushing to the upside. Good. Now, this level is a hot zone. Why is this level a hot zone? Why? There was a significant push to the downside, although price wasn't pushing up. All right. But this level, if price can break out of this level then becomes a hot zone. It becomes a very, very key level to trade in future. So which means if you can break out of this particular level here, then we would want to see price tap into this level to push us further to the upside. Okay. Now, all things being equal, if you need this particular indicator, just let me know. Let your account manager know. You'll get back to me. My name is Victor, and we'll find a way to get you this particular indicator. All right. So if price can tap back to this level here, it's telling us that then we can have a good buy trade. So all things being equal, like I've said, the moment NFP pushed price to the upside, and why did it do that? If you do the same thing that we've been doing since, from your daily, right? Okay, so this was a very significant point of interest where price retraced from. Notice that price came back into this level here and pushed higher, but you notice there's an internal support on my 4 hours that price is respecting. Internal level on my 4 hours price is respecting from this resistance, this levels right here. Now, you also see, if we go back to my lower time frame, that price came and tapped into this level. The moment it did, then we have a shift in momentum. So which means that we should keep being bullish until price gets to at least this high before any possible sell can happen. And this indicator has already marked it for us. So for us to continue buying, significantly price should tap down a little to push us higher. And for us to sell, price should come to these levels for us to sell. Okay. One more. Okay. Let's see if we look at coffee also. Now, coffee has been edging to the downside, but recently it's starting to pull up. And why? Why? Do the same thing. Just have a strategy, have a way of looking at the market, right? If you do the same thing, which is my break and retest, right? Good. Now, I have 2 levels, okay, that I'm working with currently, 2 levels, which is, you see this level here, that price retraced and finally broke. This is one. Okay. Then I have this level also, that price retraced and finally broke, which is 2. Okay. So notice that the other time, price didn't come back to this point. After it broke out, it never came back here. Here remained unmitigated. Now, price kept pushing high, created this resistance, this key level by this massive retracement. Then finally broke that level. So you could see that price retested the level successfully, went to the upside, came back, pushed higher, but then broke and came back to this next level here. Now, since price got to this next level here, it didn't get there 100%, but you could see that price started to push to the upside. Okay, pushed here, came back, and is currently on his way back to the upside. Right, currently on his way back to the upside. You will notice that the very first time it pushed to that level, that was when I started buying coffee. I started buying coffee because price. Then I did the same thing on the lower time frame. You will see exactly what I did on the lower time frame. I looked at a previous resistance, massive retracement, right? Then the moment price broke out of it, I marked it. When it came back there, started to buy. Now you can see this, it created this resistance by this massive retracement. When it broke out, I marked it. When it came back there, I started to buy again. So that's exactly what I was doing until, remember, I will tell you that if it doesn't do that same thing again, I will hold on and check what's happening. So then it took me out like twice, then I held on to see price came back all the way to the downside, and it has created this massive level here. It has bounced off of this level a couple of times. Let me mark it here on my MT5. This first level, it has bounced off it a couple of times again. So which means this is a good point that we can be buying from, all things being equal. And yesterday was just all bullish yesterday. From when price opened, all bullish till it closed. All right, so I'm expecting when price opens, it's going to open by 9:15 in less than an hour, so it's going to open less than 30 minutes, and we are how many minutes? 15, 16, 17, 18 minutes thereabout. 18 minutes thereabout. So we can look out for other trades of this guy. But I expect it in the long run to be bullish. Although price can still come back to want to rest here again before starting the journey again. But all things being equal, for the rest of this week, I expect it also to keep pushing to the upside. All right. Quickly, I'm so sorry for those who have been raising their hands that I've not called. Okay, Mr. Remo, please go ahead. You can unmute very quickly. We have just a minute to go. If you are still interested, if not, then I think we need to move on. Yes, Mr. Remo, you can unmute and ask your question. Please go ahead. There's no time. We're out of time. I can't hear you. Okay. All right. So we have to go. Let me see. Are there other questions? After identifying direction of the price, how does one determine point of entry for this breakout retest? Oh, I think I've done that a couple of times. You might need to go back to this video again. Chief Priest. Chief Priest. Please head over to this video on YouTube, right? And watch it again. Try to understand the concept that, you might not get what I'm saying right now, but if you go over it again, then it might become clearer. But irrespective, if you still need me, I can just get my number out here so you can let me know. So I think I have a couple of materials on this. You can get hold of it also. All right. So my number is 00265-82493. 00265-82493. Yes, Mr. Michael, please go ahead. We have a few seconds to go. Michael O. Akinola, please unmute and go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Bolaniwa.
Please,
the you use on the gold, can you please send it to me, please? Okay. The indicator. Thank you.
I'll need just send me your email address on my phone, then I'm going to send it to you and walk you how to install it. All right, I just need to send it to your email and we'll install it. All right, my number again is 080-265-824-93. For the last time, 080-265-824-93. 00265-824-93. Victor. Just contact me, send me your email address, send it to you, walk you how to install it and how to use it. All right. I'm so sorry, out of time. I can't take any other questions, but please just send me your questions. Chat me up on WhatsApp. I prefer the WhatsApp chat. Just chat me up, ask me your questions. You can send a voice note, I don't mind. Right. I have another meeting starting by 9 and it's already 9. That's why I really have to go. All right, please. I'm so sorry. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to seeing you again and have a wonderful day.